Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vigneshwar Meka, Assistant Professor of Geography, Government Degree College for Women's, Autonomous, Begumpet, Hyderabad. Here we shall discuss about the definitions, nature, scope of economic geography. For your convenience, this session is divided into five major points as the following: definitions, objectives and scope, importance, economic activities as a core of economic geography, and approaches to economic geography. Economic geography is the study of man and his economic activities under varying sets of conditions. The geographers are different opinions as regarding the definition of the subject matter of economic geography. In fact, different authorities have defined economic geography in a variety of ways, but their opinions converge at a common point of accord, where it means the study of the spatial distribution of man's economic activities in relation to its environment, be it a physical or non-physical. Now, we will look into the definitions of economic geography. According to Dudley Stump, economic geography involves the considerations of the geographical and other factors which influence man's productivity, but only in limited depths so far as they are connected with the production and trade. Professor E. Zimmerman pointed out that economic geography deals with economic life of man with relation to the environment. The R.S. Thurman, in his book, The Geography of Economic Activity, has remarked that the economic geography may be defined as an inquiry into the production, exchange, consumption of goods by people in different parts of the world. Particular emphasis is placed on the location of economic activities or economic activity upon asking just why economic functions are situated where they are in this world. J. McFarland's describes economic geography as the study of influence exerted on the economic activity of man by his physical environment, and more specifically by the form and the structure of the surface of the land, the climatic conditions which prevail upon it, and the spatial relations in which its different regions stand one to one another. In the words of Hawthorne and Alexander, economic geography is the study of spatial variation on the Earth's surface of activities related to producing, exchanging, and consuming the goods and services. Whenever the possible, the goal is to develop generalizations and theories to account for these spatial variations. Surpassing all, Chisholm says that economic geography is presumed to form some reasonable estimate of the future course of commercial development as determined by the geographical factors. Now, objectives and scope of economic geography. We may consider the earth as the abode of man, and its resources are resources are his legacy. Being most dynamic, man is never satisfied with the mere living. He has always tried to refine his living conditions and environment. He is never satisfied with the simple food nature has provided to him. And he has devised ways for preparing food. His shelters are not merely designed for the simple protection, but should also be comfortable in every aspect and must match with the modern style. In fact, man satisfies not only his physical needs but also his cultural needs. These inclinations or intentions of human mind have led to the exploitation of the earth resources in a number of ways down from the days of Paleolithic society till the present time, but always within certain limits imposed by the nature. One unique feature of man is that he understands the laws that govern the functioning of nature and makes use of them in his own way of life. The study of the study of the manner of exploitation of the earth's resources and the limits set by the physical environment is the proper scope of economic geography. Economic geography deals with the productive occupations and attempts to explain why certain regions are outstanding in the production and exportation of various articles and why others are significant in importation and utilization of these things. In the study of independence of production, emphasis should be given upon the degree of human activity, human initiative, and the nature of physical forces enacting to shape certain life patterns. They should be studied not in isolation but as a comprehensive system of interaction between man and nature. However, it is not certain content only with the analysis of the present pattern of productive occupations. It also studies the dynamics for global resources change not only in response to increasing knowledge, improved skills and techniques, but also perhaps more importantly in relation to changing socio-political objectives. Thus, the economic geography is a much embracing subject. It not only aims at the understanding of different natural phenomena, but also takes the cognizance of racial traits and customs, advantages of an early start, availability of capital and labor, accumulated technical knowledge and skill management, stability of government aids, or hindrances in the form of tariffs, subsidies, or the urbanization schemes, and so on. The fundamental differences in the lifestyles of various societies in different parts of the world largely stem from the diversity in the physical environment, especially climate. The climatic conditions differ quite distinctly from one region to another, with the resultant differences in human needs. The people living in the cold countries thus require warm clothes. Those in the countries require scanty and light clothing. People of monsoonal countries of the Southeast Asia take rice and fish as their staple food. Those in temperature regions prefer wheat. The inhabitants of the temperature regions are more energetic and industrious than those of the warm tropical countries. Such differences in man's basic life patterns can be explained only in terms of their varying natural conditions. Initially, at the dawn of the human civilization, man's needs were certainly very limited and so easily supplied by his habitat. Even at present, a primitive man's needs remain few. He satisfies his needs by the articles which are easily obtainable from his immediate surroundings. In contrast, a civilized man's needs are great and complex. They cannot be satisfied near at hand. They need to be supplemented from far and wide. In fact, none of the modern countries of the world are self-sufficient. The civilized man, therefore, depends a lot on the supplies of a faraway regions. This gives rise to comes. So, we may comment that the function of economic geography is to study the manner in which trade and commerce are related to the earth on which they are transacted. Thus, the economic geography investigates the diversity in basic resources of different parts of the world. It tries to evaluate the effects that differences of physical environment have upon the utilization of these resources. Economic geography studies differences in economic development in different regions or the countries of the world. It studies transportation, trade routes, and trade resulting from this development and as affected by the physical environment. The problem of economic resources has become more complex today with millions starving and unemployed. Such problems are more acute in the countries and among people who believe in material rather than spiritual progress. A man brought up under Western civilization believes in creature comforts. He tries, by all means, to improve his lifestyle, which is based on the competition. This competitive attitude gives rise to the socio-economic problems. Economic geography, therefore, also aims at resolving such problems by better and efficient utilization of limited resource through rational, systematic, scientific, and long-term planning. Humboldt, a famous 19th century German geographer, remarked that the diversified riches of the earth are a vast source of human enjoyment, and therefore man's highest development requires that we put these riches into a common world stream of understanding us. And this can only be achieved through the study of the economic geography. H. McCarthy has empty marked economic geography concerns with the solution of the economic problems. Hence, the student of economic geography must be trained along four principal lines. They are: one, recognize problems and state them in a manner. Develop hypotheses that promise solution to those problems. Test the adequacy of these hypotheses in providing solutions for these problems. Relate tested hypotheses to other generalizations in the body of theory. In this way, the economic geography contributes to international understanding. It undoubtedly broadens our knowledge and outlook to a great extent and enables us to acquire a humanistic viewpoint. It is essential for the liberalization of our education system from the future citizens of the modern world so that with help of economic geography and under its influence, the man might work for true global understanding between different nations. Now, we look into importance of the study of economic geography. The main objective of economic geography is, as expounded, to examine man's economic achievement in terms of production and consumption in the light of his environment. To assess the relative importance of the study of this branch of geography, we have to evaluate the processes, the purposes that it serves. The economic geography fundamentally maintains a very close relation with man's economic welfare as other social sciences too. But the approach is radically different. Through various stages of interpretation and analysis it in the final stage attempts to point out the potential for the development of a region occupied by a certain group of people. The disparity in the state of economic well-being and level of production is common phenomenon. In order to eliminate such disparity, the mobilization of the resource is imperative. A careful study of the situation has to be undertaken before any move is initiated to mobilize resources to resolve the problems. The economic geography accomplishes this job. The above conditions may further be elaborated. The idea of the Damodar Valley Corporation was inherited from the Tennessee Valley Authority of United States of America, but the Damodar Valley Corporation failed to maximize the relative benefits as the Tennessee Valley Authority did in USA. At the time of installation of the multi-purpose river valley project in the Damodar Valley area, only the aspects of physical setting were compared, ignoring totally the cultural elements like the level of technology, industrialization, capital availability, etc. Thus, due to the lack of the proper cultural setting, the Damodar Valley Corporation failed to reap the same degree of benefit as the Tennessee Valley Authority. Because of the latitudinal locations, climatic conditions in parts of the Canada are almost similar to those of the Commonwealth independent states. The level of technological development also bears identity. Under this identical framework, the introduction of a more cold resisting variety of wheat developed in either of these countries can also meet with a similar degree of success. On the other hand, the early British colonial settlers in Ceylon, that is the present Sri Lanka, committed a great mistake in their attempt to introduce oat, barley, and wheat cultivation in the country, while both the climate as well as the pedogenic conditions were by no means the conducive to use those crops. Drastic transformation of the existing pattern of culture by another is not scientifically justified. A pattern of culture evolves out of the dynamic interaction between man and nature. Despite the physical identity between two countries, The culture of one country may not fit that of the other. The stages of the fast growth or the heritage plays a very decisive role in shaping the present destiny of man. It is therefore important to know that the factor of heritage, be it natural or the cultural or the human, should not be overlooked, since any enforced evolution or the imposition of the culture may bring disastrous results. Economic geography makes a comparatively humble and integrated approach to such problems. It decides a country or a region in terms of its natural, human, and cultural environments with relation to man's economic way of life. A certain set of geo-economic conditions led to the development of the Japanese method of cultivation. Prior to the introduction of such productive system of agriculture in India, a careful examination of India's agrarian infrastructure is necessary. Otherwise, mere adoption of such systems may not produce fruitful results. The economic geography serves the purpose of identifying the influence that the environment exerts on man through the presentation of the multiple geo-economic conditions of different parts of the world. Any attempt that aims at the balanced development of economy could not succeed without the complete understanding of the man-environment interrelationship. Without any such knowledge, economic relation is bound to end up in fiasco. It is a fait accompli. Economic geography, therefore, services as an essential tool for reducing and finally the eliminating world societies disparity gaps by the scientific study of their economic resources, modern needs, and cultural heritages. So far, in this session, we dealt with the introduction of economic geography, definitions of economic geography, objectives and scope of economic geography, and the importance of economic geography. The rest of the points in this chapter will be discussed in the next session. Thank you, Ananda.